Okie dokie. So, I was in the middle of prepping all these lights to hang up on the overhead, and I thought, well, I better show at least one, the disassembly and prep. And I'm a big fan of, if you've got to do something repetitive, do that certain thing and then move on to the next step. For example, we need to prep all these lights. I need to pull this pigtail wire off of here, find a center mark that, and then move on to the next step, right? So measure out your purlins, find center wherever you want to put your lights, and then move on to wiring and so forth. So if anybody's interested, let me show you how to kind of prep these lights. Basically just undo the clips. I already did that. We're going to pull this guy off, and I'm going to go ahead and take the clips off, because when I hang these, I'm going to do them separate. I'm going to do the case up on the purling, and then I'll come back around and install all the lightings. And yeah, that's the way we'll do it. So pop those two little safety cables off of there, and then these clips. I just got these little locking clips. Just grab our needle nose and kind of push those tabs in. They're a little bit of a tough thing to get off. Get it off of there. Cool. So that's it for that. So that's our LED filament. And I'll put a link in the description on which lights these are, because man, they are really nice. I'm very impressed with the build quality on these. They're just a dust-free, waterproof, well, as much as waterproof can be, LED fluorescent light. So I'll put a link in the description on which brand they are. So I want to pull this pigtail wire off, because we're going to run MC cable into this light fixture, and so this guy can go away. We're going to keep this watertight or water resistant fitting on here, but we're going to have to pull it out to get our MC cable through there. So you got three little connectors here. You got your 120 volts, your ground, your neutral. Just undo those screws there, those set screws. And we're going to need to pop that clamp off of there to pull that wire out. So we need the bigger screwdriver. Let's see here. So pull these guys off. Save that for later. So all we're simply going to do is pull these wires out of that terminal block. So all good there. And then this is pretty tight on there, so I think we'll probably have to pull the whole fitting out. So let's pull that guy out of there. Okay, there's our nut. Here's our fitting. I want to go ahead and get this wire pulled out of here. For those of you not familiar with these types of fittings, they're really nice. I don't want to say they're waterproof, because nothing's really actually waterproof ever, but they're very water resistant and weather resistant. So they're good little connectors. I'll show you close up here in a second. So they've got a little rubber grommet inside of there. Hopefully you can see that, but all you simply do is put your wire inside of there and take this, I guess you could consider this kind of like a jam nut, sort of, but when you squeeze it on there, it kind of pushes against that rubber and squeezes it tight around your wire. Pretty nice little fittings. So we'll reuse these. Let's stick this back in there. Okay, let's get a mark on center on this guy. And these are going to go on that side, so I want to think about how I'm going to be up there on the ladder and where my mark's going to be. I'm going to be on this side because the trailer's in the way. I won't be able to get my ladder on that side of the purling. So we'll be on this side, my cable going this way. So let's put our mark on this side so we'll very easily be able to see it. These, I forget what the length they were. I did those other three. 46 3/4. What is half of that? That'd be, oh God, I forget. 46 3/4, 23 1/4. Hope that's right. Sounds right. Let's go with it. 23 1/4. So I'm just going to put my mark on the side so I can very easily match it up to the purling, because I'm going to put a mark on the purling up there. So we got 23 1/4. Let's double check that from the other way around. 23 1/4. Good. Math is correct. That is fantastic. Let's get our Sharpie here. All good. That's basically it. It's prepped. So this is the 4th one. I've already done the other 3. And so they're all done. They're ready to hang. So let's get some measurements, get some marks on the purlins, and get them up there. Okay, let's see how that looks from the camera. Kind of hard to get a good angle 10 feet up in the air as to what the heck we've got going on up here. I'll stick this on the top of the ladder. Okay, so this one we need a mark on still, and let's see, I've got it written on my box down there. They're 24 feet 10 3/4 inches total, so half of that I've got written down 12 foot 5 3/8. So we need a mark at 12 foot 5 3/8. Whoa. I've got this tape clamped to the beam over there. That's how I'm able to do this by myself. Oh good, my pencil's in my pocket. That's good news. 12 foot 5. There's 3/8 right there. Okay, 12 foot 5 3/8. Now this is what I was talking about a minute ago when I was prepping all this. I made my mark on this side of the light. Hopefully you can see that. Let me raise it up here. I've got it on this side of the light with my cable going this way, because that's the way that my MC cable is going to come in. So when I lay this up, I can very clearly see my mark lined up right here on my purling. Super easy. That's part of the prep work. You know, you want to take a minute and kind of think through the things that you're about to do to make life a little easier when you're standing up here on top of a ladder. Stay, buddy. Actually, let's get you like that. Let's get you like so. Okay. So, light fixture, got our mark. Let's go ahead and get a clamp on this side. You do a lot of work by yourself. You kind of figure out little tricks to make life a little easier when you only got one set of hands. But boy, there is no replacement for good help, that's for sure. Okay, so let's get this. Oh, we're too far this way. There we go. Yeah, maybe just a touch more. Okay, that'll work. Let's fill this one. Go this way. Oh, too much. There we go. Okay. Hopefully, no one's judging me on my straightness of my lights, but they should be pretty dang straight. Okay, let's get our drill. Let's get us a screw. Let's pop you in. Oh. There we go. All right. All right. All right. Speaking of Matthew McConaughey, there we go. I've been listening to his audiobook lately. Boy, that guy is a character, man. He has had quite the life. I don't know if anybody's read that book or not, but whew, man, oh man, that guy has seen and done some things. All right, cool. So this one's up. We'll move on to the last two. Good morning, everybody. All right. Well, I want to show you guys real quick the process in kind of prepping all these pigtails. I wish, now kind of looking back, I wish I kind of had to put these on and wired them up before I put those fixtures up, but it is what it is. We'll prep them all here and then stick them up there in a little while. I made a mark here 6 inches on the trailer, just marked it with a Sharpie. And all I'm going to do is, I've already pre-marked it here on the cables, but I was just using it as a reference because I want 6 inches of wire out of my sheeting to be able to hook it up into the terminal block up there in the light fixture pretty easily. So all you're going to want to do, if you never use one of these, this is going to put a little cut, a little groove in the sheeting and allow this to come off. And they're pretty simple to use. You want to set the depth. It might take you a time or two. Do it on a piece of scrap to get a good depth cut to where you're not cutting into the wire, but you're also cutting it enough to get this off. So you just squeeze it and then turn it. Yep, got all the way through. There we go. Get that off of there. Typically you would put the little red little plastic inserts, but I'm using these weather tight fittings, and I think having that on there, I don't think will allow it to come through our little rubber gasket here in our weather tight fittings. So let's just probably, let's get our jam nut on first. Woo. Let's go ahead and cut our plastic sheeting back. We'll leave a little extra here, that way it'll kind of act as a protector against those wires as it comes out through the metal sheeting there. So, there we go. Let's see if we can get that slide on there. Oh yeah. Yeah, nice. So I'll put it in there about, say, ½ an inch or so, something like that. So then, let's pull this nut off so we can get a better grip on it. Get our jam nut over there. And as you tighten this up, it's going to squeeze down onto that, I'd say it's kind of like similar to a compression fitting. I guess it is a compression fitting. So yeah, that's basically it. Now this is ready. Well, let's go ahead and strip our wires and get those prepped nice and easy. Make sure and use a good pair of strippers. These are Klein's. I prefer a really nice quality pair of strippers because they do a really good job of pulling this casing off this wire without damaging that wire. And this is 14 gauge, so these particular pair does 10, from 10 gauge down to 18, and that's what I use the most of. So yeah, there you go, ready to go. Okay, let's pull. Well, let's see, we're gonna need a pair of pliers. Glad I grabbed them. So these fixtures had a fitting already in them, and because I had some extra ones, I made them up on the ground. However, we're gonna need to take this one out now. There we go. This is why I should have done all this on the ground had I been thinking about it. So get you in here. Oh, that wind is cold this morning. Hopefully you can't hear it in the audio. Okay, let's tighten that nut up just a bit. Pretty good. And I'm waiting on some clamps to come in to clamp to our purlins. The electrical supply shop didn't have any in stock, so I'm going to be waiting on those. So this is 120 volts. For you, those of you not familiar with that, you're going to have a hot wire, which is supplying 120 volts, a neutral, and then also a ground. And these lights are Most of the time your colors on that are going to be pretty standard: white, green, and black. White being your neutral, green being your ground, or just a bare piece of copper wire, and then black being your hot leg that would supply 120 volts. And one thing I would strongly suggest is leaving yourself just a little bit of extra wire in there, a couple inches, just in case anything you need to do in the future, you've got a little extra. And also, one thing that I would strongly suggest is you check, you want these good and snug, but then you also want to check the factory connections. Because sometimes, yeah, like that one was loose, that one was loose, and that one was loose. So, now we're wired up. We could actually put this this light face on, the actual light itself, get it all clipped in, because we're done in here. This is it. So this will get ran along this purling down to our junction box that we still need to put in. So while we've got the ladder here, let's go ahead and stick it on. There we go. Get our little safeties back on. There we go. There we go. Let's get us plugged back in. All right, we got everything plugged in. Get up one more step on the ladder carefully. All right, let's get you set up in there. Very nice. Okay, that one's good to go. Woo. Man, it is chilly this morning. So something I just realized I think I want to do is put a little Teflon tape on these little fittings that go, they're 3/4 to 1/2 inch adapters that go on top of the boxes where the MC cable is going to enter. And I want to do that because they're going to be exposed to some wind driven rain, and I don't want any water inside of these. So Probably a little overkill, but hey, we got it. Why not? So let's just put a little on there and then stick it in the top of these boxes. Boy, it is super windy today. See, even that's still a little bit of a loose fit, but would be better than having none at all. Guess if we were getting really carried away, we could silicone that, but that'll be okay. Hey guys, whew, yesterday turned into kind of a unproductive afternoon. Made a couple of changes, tested the lights out last night. The layout's pretty good. I think I'm gonna add one more light. I'll show you what we got going on, and then we're gonna get all the clips showed up, the purling clips for the MC cable. So just pick those up from the post office, and we're gonna start getting all this wire put in. Hopefully wrap this thing up this afternoon or get real close to it. So let me show you some of the changes we've made, and we got some of the things, a lot of the boxes all mounted up. All right, so we've got a 240 volt outlet. This plug is for the RV here. We got a 20 amp single outlet circuit there. We got our fuse panel. I put this switch on here because this switch is going to control all the lights. So we got two up there with the pigtails on them. Got two over there, and I'm gonna put one more right here in the middle. And then over here, we got a 4-gang box that we've got here. And then this box, I went ahead and mounted. I decided to put a floodlight in out here. So I got that mounted this morning. It was still dark out, so I didn't film anything. Apparently now I wake up at 5 o'clock and get to work, so it's all dark out. So let's get this plug right here. There we go, right there, wired in, and we'll start from here and work our way over to the panel. Well, it is really windy today, so hopefully there's not a lot of wind noise on this new mic that I got that should be making our audio a whole lot better. Gosh, I can't tell which one of these is which. So we're gonna do, we're gonna bring in a 20 amp circuit that's gonna feed two plugs. But off of this plug, this will be my circuit that goes to this switch and then on up to that floodlight. So if that makes sense. I know probably should have a separate circuit for that, but it's just a little LED floodlight. There's hardly any draw on it. So we'll see what happens there. So first, what do we want to do first? Let's attach our 20 amp circuit, and then we will tie on and run our floodlight circuit. So let's see what we got here. Little pro tip for you guys. I wanted to address something right here while I was doing this plug. And full disclaimer, I am not a licensed electrician. However, I have done a lot of electrical work. I am a licensed air conditioning and heating contractor for about the past 24, 25 years now. And something that I always do on my low voltage connections in my outdoor units and air conditioning, but really any of my wire nuts that I'm going to have outside or inside, is I'll always want to turn my wire nuts facing up so that any moisture that does accidentally make its way into these wire nuts, dang, I almost cut that too short. Any moisture that is inside of here, it won't settle into the bottom of your wire nut and sit there and corrode your connection over time. Now, it would take a long time to do it depending on the environment. For us out here in West Texas, it's crazy dry, but I spent almost 15 years in Corpus Christi working on the coast, and let me tell you, man, that's the most humid environment ever. So turn your wire nuts facing up. That way any moisture that's in there it will make its way out and not just sit in the bottom of that wire nut and corrode your connections. Might be a bit of wind noise because it's blowing like 25 miles an hour, but I'm just installing these little clips on the purlins and then snapping the MC cable in there. So pretty simple. We'll get all the way over to our receiver channel, then we'll mount our box and hook these two lights up, and then we'll continue on towards the breaker panel.